America's fight to promote democracy abroad looks like this. Images like this get applauded. But a similar uprising within the U.S. turns into a crackdown on that same democratic will. Is the U.S. now in a war on its own territory against its own people?
For basically our entire history, we've been an imperialist state, so I think it's only a matter of time before imperialism abroad starts affecting individual liberties at home.
The methods being used to end civil disobedience in the U.S. have been increasingly reminiscent of war tactics.
There's a lot of casualties, so you could say it's a war zone.
Peaceful students pepper sprayed while seated, demonstrating Americans beaten until they bleed.
What's your name?
And even war veterans injured into unconsciousness.
Our police forces have been militarized. They are working more in cooperation with the Pentagon. They're buying and being given military surplus equipment that has been kind of designed for use in war. And this is something that leads to treating the public as you would treat an enemy.
37-year-old lawyer and artist Amin Hussein recalls his own arrest.
As if they're hugging me, like, don't make a move, just put your hands behind your back. And 6 people jumped on me, tried to wrestle me to the ground. They wrestled me to the ground, and they just kept kneeing me in the back for about 5 minutes.
Amin says the only political right not cracked down on in the U.S. is the right to vote on Election Day. Everything else is seen as a threat.
The United States has created a space for people to shop, for people to buy, buy cards, go on picnics, do things like that. But the moment that they're politicized in any way, that's a problem.
Hundreds of arrests throughout months of Occupy Wall Street demonstrations have shown the world an image of America not seen for a long time. An image authorities have tried their best to hide by demanding special credentialing for journalists covering demonstrations and evictions.
I have DCPD press passes.
As well as threatening to take media passes away.
We're seeing this pattern, and it's very disturbing, and a lot of reporters aren't seeing it because they are getting thrown out of the action and being arrested, and this is something which is outrageous also.
Police presence and aggression overwhelming at nonviolent protests.
Since the Patriot Act was passed, they've used instances of violence to revoke liberties.
Some of those who've been part of the protests since day one say officials turned the movement into a civil war.
It's not a war zone.
The show of police force and the coordinated attempts with Homeland Security shows that this is coming from a federal level.
Even with the use of militarized tactics on the rise, those fighting for change are not planning to give up on their battle.
The police overreaction and the political overreaction only emboldens us, only strengthens our resolve.
And many are saying the real fight is yet to come.
The actions of a dying regime become more aggressive and crazier, and we're just going to see more of that. 2012 will be the year of American Revolution.
The aggressive vigor with which America's biggest protests in years have been met has been the latest example of the fact that what the U.S. preaches is not necessarily what it practices, only heeding the outrage of its citizens who want the system to change. Anastasia Churkina, RT, New York.